Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight. They did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising, but one black man, Rich Newton, said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, because that's who we are. Give a big hand to Rich New Dennis for bringing us back. Why do we come? Because the essence of who we are is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We will organize our house by house. We came over the Middle Passage. We survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. Don't you give up now. Don't you turn back now. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. Reclaim your dignity. Reclaim your place. So we stand with the Global Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, it's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are, because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you. There were many that were enslaved that left the plantation, said I'm free, and were recaptured and re-enslaved because the laws said that. Without them signing the laws that we fought for, how should we have gotten free?
Sharpton keeps it real.
Because you're raising things that you haven't thought out. There were slave rebellions that did. All right, then give me the answer. You haven't answered me yet. If you thought it out, give me the answer.
Asking the tough questions.
Well, see,
Reverend, there, sir.
the statement. Now you
Give me two.
You can question mine. You can question any statement I make. You can question any statement. Whoa. You can question any statement I make, but you cannot call here and tell me don't question the statement you make, brother.
Brothers gonna work it out. Be a part of the conversation. Just keep it real. Live from the National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York, keeping it real. And now, America's #1 civil rights leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
All right, I'm here. Sir, you are live. It's Wednesday.
Turn your headphones down. Turn your headphones down.
It's Wednesday, December 24th. Do you know what time it is? Yes, it's Sharpton's time. And for the next 3 hours, it's time to put aside all pretenses, deception, denial, or fronting. The time has come to keep it real on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. A very good afternoon to you all across the country. And good morning to our West Coast listeners. Welcome to those listening on Sirius XM Channel 126, The Urban View. And that is where talk empowers and becomes action. Coming to you live from our National Action Network corporate headquarters in New York. And you can join the conversation heard nationwide and other parts of the world. All you have to do is call me, and you can be heard, your thoughts, your analysis, your opinions. Call me at 1-877-532-5797, 212, I'm sorry, it's 877 532-5797, or you can go on the message board and send me a message at www.nationalactionnetwork.net and go to live stream, and you can be on the message board. I'll read off as many as I can. I just saw the Mayor Rodney Jones, saying, "Good afternoon, my shepherd. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor." Mayor of Queensbridge houses in Queens, New York. He says, "Brother, gonna work it out." Willie Hutch. I love that tune too, Mr. Mayor. Be looking for you tomorrow, Christmas, as we feed the elderly and the homeless at the House of Justice. Glad to hear from you, Martez. Martez is saying, is it Martez? Martez, y'all got to teach me how to. It's Martise. Martise says, "Merry Christmas, Reverend Sharpton. Nan, Greater Memphis appreciates you and all the work you poured into justice this year. Wishing you peace and strength." Martise Chisholm. Okay, now I got it. The signing got it. Martise Chisholm has started our new chapter there in Memphis, Tennessee, and I'm so proud of her and the gathering. I don't know what to do. I wanted a stronger presence in Memphis since the Tyree Nichols case. I stay in touch with Tyree's family, and Martise has stepped in a big way. Well, a lot is going on, and we need to talk about it. I know it's Christmas Eve, and I hope you that are celebrating Christmas don't forget the reason for the season. We're going to talk about that. And you that are out there shopping, I hope you're supporting stores in our community, owned by people in our community, to build the economic infrastructure of our community. I hope they're not some good talkers and bad shoppers. You know, we talk a good game, but go get designer clothes from companies that are against us after we done told everybody how big, bad, and black we are. But there's a lot going on. I did about an hour this morning on MS Now, talking about different issues, the Epstein files. The more that comes out, and they're leaking it out, drip, 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 it is clear that Donald Trump was a lot more engaged with Epstein than he has previously said. He said he didn't. At one point, he said he never flew on his plane. Now they've found multiple times he was on his plane, multiple memos that they had meetings and all. If it all comes out, we don't know where it's going to go, but it certainly has Trump and the Trump White House nervous, because that's why they're blocking and in many ways finding ways that have been deemed illegal to try to stop this this congressional order to bring forth all of what the Justice Department has. And they're talking about some punishment because they have not done it. We're also seeing the Trump administration is saying they're going to start garnishing wages of defaulted student loan borrowers in January. Reading what it says, the Trump administration will begin garnishing wages of student loan borrowers in default starting January, the Education Department told CNN on Tuesday. And we expect the first notices to be sent out approximately 1,000 defaulted borrowers the week of January 7th. So in the time now of inflation, in the time of high unemployment, they're going to go and start dealing with garnishing people's pay on student loans. That seems like a real way of dealing with affordability and helping people in hard times. And they keep blowing up boats and stuff in Venezuela with no real evidence yet that they are trafficking drugs. And I might add, and I say it every time I mention it, he did it at a time that he gave a pardon to the former head of state, former president of Honduras, who was convicted in the court, the president was, of trafficking drugs. And I'm talking about in the United States federal court, found him guilty, sentenced him to 45 years, Trump let him out of jail while he is bombing boats in Venezuela. Supreme Court voted that ICE could not go into Chicago while the lower court is still finding a ruling. Now, you would I easily guess that Clarence Thomas and Samuel Alito and Gorsuch declined to let declined to support the suit to say that Trump should not be allowed to engage or exercise the National Guard in Chicago. Those are the three that voted he should be able to do it. The others in the Supreme Court voted that he should not be allowed to engage the National Guard. So this one time that, interesting, even the Supreme Court Chief Justice went along with the minorities on the court. So there's a lot to talk about, as well as we started yesterday, and I want to continue today. Tell me what Christmas and Kwanzaa means to you, and what are the most memorable Christmas days you have spent. Today's Christmas Eve, and a lot of you are with your family and friends on the way or already there. What is the most memorable Christmas you've ever had, and what does Christmas mean to you, and what does Kwanzaa mean to you? So we're going to open up the phones. And I got one lady called into National Action Network and said, Terry Mal, I'm glad that he raised that question, because I got a couple of ideas from hearing what other people said they going to do and what is important to them. So you never know. You might say, well, this is where I feel, I don't know if I'm going to get through. You never know who you might be helping by sharing some of you with them. So let's get ready to line up these calls. 1-877-532-5797, 1-877-532-5797, or you can go to the message board at www.nationalactionnetwork.net, www.nationalactionnetwork.net, and send me a message, and we'll try to get to all on the board. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
We've reduced a lot of our ministry to entertainment. Or who can hoop the loudest? Who could run around the pulpit more? Or who got the dresses fancy and don't deal with the ministry? Jesus healed more people than he preached to. Because there is in the healing your message. They followed Jesus because he healed a woman with the issue of blood. They followed Jesus because Jesus saw a blind man named Bartimaeus. A lot of us would have dismissed him because he was a broke, poor, homeless, a blind man. How do you know he was broke, Reverend? Because they say he was begging. But he understood what he was doing because he heard that Jesus was passing by. And when Jesus got close enough, he said, Jesus, son of David, come see about me. They kept telling Jesus, let's go, we got a schedule, we got people to see. He said it again, Jesus, son of David, come see about me. And when he did it the third time, Jesus stopped and went and healed the blind man. Now, what I get out of that scripture, Bishop Daughtry, is that the blind man told Jesus, if you are who you say you are, you're going to stop and see me. Yes, sir. And if you stop and see me, you will confirm who you are. Yeah. But when we are pastoring and leading in communities with bad health, we cannot be the followers and representatives of Jesus and walk by people that are sick and we not be part of making them well.
So it's become almost an unhealthy habit how much I'm listening to Keep It Real, because it is the realest thing on the air anywhere, whether it be online or whether it be on the radio or wherever it's coming into you from, because there's no one of Rev's importance and caliber who is as dominant a media figure as he is, who allows people to speak at length, and who he treats with equal respect and admiration with every call, whether he agrees with you or not. And I'm not gonna throw shade at anybody, but there are a lot of people with big platforms like the Rev has who are afraid to talk to the people and who are afraid that the people will keep it real with them. And he never shies away from anything any of us want to talk to him about. And he doesn't shut you up. It's not a soundbite, it's a conversation. So I would like people in media to learn from this man who is carrying MLK's torch. Don't be afraid of people. Listen to them, respect them, and stand in God and stand in truth. Thank you, Nan. Thank you, Rev. Thank you, everybody who puts this together and sends it out across the world, because we need much more of it. Bless you.
Many people cannot focus because they have not really come to terms with their calling and life purpose. In order to focus, you must also be clear on what you're focusing on. So if you're not clear on your purpose, if you're not clear on your life's calling, then focus on seeking that. Because if you just read the ways and roads you traveled that you didn't even choose, that were sort of just laid out for you by God, in that it's telling you, speaking to you about what your purpose is and what you were born to do and be. I learned the things that I didn't plan had to be planned by God, and God's plan was directed toward God's purpose in my life. And I focus on that. Not focus on what others do, not focus on how well they're doing or bad they're doing, but focus on whether I'm in line and aligned with what I'm supposed to be about. And in order to move straight ahead, you have to be focused on the path you're running on. I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talents in my own unique way and let me do things on my own. because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me with other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Don't forget, tomorrow's Christmas Day. You in the tri-state area, we will be at the House of Justice all day, starting at 11 o'clock tomorrow, feeding those that are elderly, that have no family here, that has Christmas dinner free with us, feeding the homeless, freeing people that just don't have it and want to have a family day on Christmas Day. I'm there, my family's there all day, starting 11 a.m. at the House of Justice in Harlem, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue. And we've been doing this 34 years. Nan will be 35 years old on next year, and we've been doing it because this is what we do. And one of the reasons why we tell people to come from the community and commune with us and do this is because we do not know, you can't tell whether or not someone is homeless or poor, broke, or elderly. We all eat together. So it's not about trying to make everybody feel a certain way. This is about serving people and having a spirit of unity. And you that want to help serve, you can come and serve. A lot of people come and serve an hour or two, help serve the food, help give some of the toys to the youngsters, and then going home and do what they do for Christmas. Others stay all day. But meet me there. I'll be there 11 on. Christmas to me is not about what you get. It's about what you give. Then, of course, we'll be right there Saturday. And for you that want to make sure that you're on the list of volunteers to serve tomorrow, you can go to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and sign up. www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Also, Saturday, we'll be right back at the House of Justice for the Saturday Action Rally. From 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., I'm giving my second part of my Christmas Kwanzaa message. I want you to be in the house, and we are there. If you have relatives, friends coming from out of town for the holiday, bring them to the House of Justice. I'm so happy every week because I stay on the stage, shake hands with everybody in the audience that wants to come up, and I'm so happy that every week people from different parts of the country say, I'm from this, I'm from that, and I listen to your radio show, I watch your TV show. So be in the house with us, celebrate the weekend with us. And of course, the Politics Nation with Al Sharpton is live at 5 p.m. Saturdays and Sundays. I'm live Saturday. And Sunday's the Revy Awards. And we're going to deal with all these issues. I don't take holiday off. A lot of hosts take their I will be doing my show 5 o'clock on Saturday. Watch it. I'm going to get way on Trump's nerves on Saturday. Got some of the congressmen that's going to work on that. They going to be on the show. Have to deal with this issue of being able to. Congresswoman Beatty wants to talk about how she's going to court to stop him from renaming the Kennedy Center after him. But I want to deal with this Venezuela question with other members of Congress. I want to deal with this question of tariffs. Don't miss Saturday and Sunday. Sunday is the Revy Awards, Saturday the regular show. Make sure you tune in on MS Now at 5 p.m. both days. All right, let's go to the phones and let's start in Kansas City with American Patton. American Patton, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Good morning, Dr. Sharpton. It's an honor to speak with you.
Honor's
this
mine.
morning.
Honor's mine.
Just the Lord placed on my heart this morning just to call and share about the importance of service learning academies. You know, I live here in KCK, and I represent the Quindaro Underground Railroad Museum as a volunteer there, where we had a historically black university known as Western University. It was modeled after Booker T. Washington's university. It was the first historically black university west of the Mississippi. And it was a phenomenal community in the late 1800s. And today, to look at the condition that it's in today, with the university being torn down, which closed in 1943, to see a highway built through there, and to see many of the elders pass away, to go home and be with the Lord, and not to see this community come back, and to look up this zip code and see that it is one of the poorest zip codes in the United States is a disgrace to our country. And to look at the other side of my county, to see how we have the Legends Shopping Center, the Sporting KC, and now the Chiefs moving out there, and having all of these incredible things happen on the other side of my county that I grew up since the age of 5, since moving here from Philadelphia. And to see this community suffer, and to see it still in ruins years after this town has been founded is really heartbreaking.
So now paint the picture for my audience. You've got this historic part of the county, and it represents so much in our history. And now it has been left pretty much unprotected, underdeveloped, and underfinanced, using the tax base that they use in other parts of the county. And you say even the team is getting ready to come in there. I mean, break that down again, because that really got through to me. I want the audience to hear this.
Yes, absolutely. And on the other side of the county, you know, we have so much development. And I have many of our elders have been fighting for this community for years. Chester Owens, who brought Martin Luther King here to march back in the day. My mentor, Luther Smith, who was the curator of the Quindaro Underground Railroad Museum, who went home to be with the Lord in his 80s. And then also to see many of our other founders who helped to fight for this particular area. They were going to turn it into a landfill in the 1980s, into literally a landfill, but the concerned Quindaro citizens fought for it, and they now preserved it as a historic national landmark. But yet still, there's few remnants over there to even know that it's there.
So they named it a national landmark. It was the Underground Railroad Museum, but there are no real markers and no real kind of promotion for tourists to come and really see it and upkeep it, so that it's something that represents a real significant part of American history and African American history.
Absolutely. We're now trying to get signage. We just got approved for a grant to get signage throughout the ruins. And then we're also trying to preserve the Quindaro Underground Railroad Museum, which is the Vernon Multipurpose Center. And the Vernon Multipurpose Center is right across the street from where the former Western University used to be at. And then Bishop Vernon, who was the president of Western University, who was appointed to build that university in the 1800s, he was only 25 years old when he took over the tutelage to build this university and to make it into a real college. And he took it upon himself, Bishop Vernon, to build this into a real college.
Hold on one minute, because this is important to me. I want people to hear this. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that call me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, the Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor, who stayed right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. He didn't just We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
And I think that is extremely important about the funding. But I also want to add how they're changing what can be taught. You have states outright saying you can't teach Black history and you can't teach certain other histories and the curriculum. You have this administration that is literally taking out exhibits from the Smithsonian. So we have not only an education problem in terms of resources, we have an education problem in terms of curriculum and what people are being taught. So I have one grandchild, 6-year-old. When he gets to high school, it may be just against the law for him to learn about certain parts of American history, which includes Blacks. We don't want to talk about slavery. We want to talk about the good side of America. Well, what does that mean? That's not history. Everything was not good. And I think that that is the threat that we've got to fight, which is why we've got to fight with the courts and the streets, because they're literally changing the textbooks as we go. As they do that, they change the opportunity, because then the fight against affirmative action is not having access to these institutions and telling these institutions, this whole fight around DEI, which they did, started in Harvard with a Black woman president. Started with them saying you can't teach diversity in an Ivy League school like Harvard. It didn't start in Little Rock at the high school. This fight, this time, was Harvard. And they went from there on. And I think that we've got to have the same resistance. If they could fight in the 50s, that ACP would come together and deal with the question from Little Rock and desegregation. Then we that are far more educated. Keeping it real, keeping it real. Secure person. I am your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. We're live this Christmas Eve. This is not a tape. Let me go right back to American Patton. For you just tuning in, quickly, American Patton, tell them again of our concern about this historic site there in Kansas City.
One of the main concerns is that this historic community known as the Quindaro ruins, and it's still in the ruins. It has not come out of ruins yet. This area represents so much of the story of America, of freedom. That Quindaro was established right off of the river, where right across the state, where Missouri was a slave state and Kansas was a state that was fighting to stay free, which did enter as a free state. So many people would escape from Missouri across the river. They would go across the frozen river during the winter season, and they would make their way over to Quindaro, which was a free township. You had the lower Quindaro Bluffs right off the river. Then you had the upper Quindaro Bluffs where the university was established, where it flourished. I mean, they had all of the major academic departments. You even had a philosophy and religion department where students could earn a 3-year certificate if they went to that particular college. Even Booker T. Washington came and spoke there. Even the famous historian, Dr. John Hope Franklin, came to visit this site. And many people don't know that it even exists today because there's a few homes back there. There's overgrowth. There's not even much to even let people know what was there. And now that we passed to become a national park, the signature hasn't even been signed yet. And I'm wondering what's the delay of the...
Now who passed it?
It went through Congress. We had Marvin Robertson, who was one of our key leaders, who went and spoke before Congress.
Okay.
And he went and got bipartisan support, and it became a national commemorative park first.
Okay.
And as of May, it now passed through Congress to become a national park. But why hasn't the signature been signed? How come it's still waiting? We are waiting to get the funding to preserve this area the way that it needs to be preserved so that people won't forget about this amazing history of Quindaro. I mean, I hear stories about people who grew up and knew the Quindaro the way that it used to be in the early 1900s. They don't even want to drive down there.
Wow.
I mean, you have, because they said they don't, I heard true stories about people who don't even want to go down there because of the way it looks and the condition that it's in. I mean, it's sad that now you have
I really, really see. I think we've got to have a sense of our history. That's why I held you over. Pick him up, Dallas, and get his information to me, because I want to maybe do something on a TV show on this, and maybe even get somebody to go there and film some stuff. Because let me tell you something. You are and I am as strong as the foundation we stand on, and this is an area in Kansas. As he said, Missouri was a slave state. Kansas, where our people came out of chattel slavery, the only hope they had was their freedom and that their generations ahead would live a better life, and they were making a sacrifice for them. And we do not rise to the occasion enough. So get his information and get it to me, please. Let's go to Elijah in Cincinnati, Ohio, the Buzz. Elijah? Is Elijah there?
Good afternoon, Brother Al.
Good afternoon.
Yes, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good to hear you, and always ready to congratulate you for the work that you did in the community of a historical occasion always. And otherwise, you asked a question that it made me want to respond. And incidental to me responding, I was blessed to reach my 80th year, 80, as it mentions in the scriptures of truth. And I agree that you have to be strong to reach this number.
Well, God bless you. I'm glad you made that. That's wonderful.
Yes, sir. Hallelujah. Otherwise, I look at the question you asked. I think you said it as what's favorable or unfavorable about Christmas. Is that how you termed it?
Yeah.
Okay, and I found it to be what it would have been on the day that the crime was committed. And that was when our European brethren, according to history, went back down to that part of the world and under false pretenses dealt with the scrolls. They called the ancient sea scrolls, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Ubuntu writings, all tied into what we're about. And when they got finished, they came out with something that they created based on the truth of our records back in the land. So that I find today, in this day and time, for the celebration of Christmas to be a mockery against the true and living Most High, the one and only Creator that told Moses to tell the people that I am sent you. So the compilation of the New Testament is but a statement that a new God is in town and sitting on the throne, and it happens to be about whiteness. So I have no respect for what they tried to concoct to keep us confused and very separated today. There's a brother in London named Nicosia Dollar. He has a show called Black Re-Education TV, and he says the birth of Jesus equals the death of the Ubuntu people. So I'm calling to give.
Well, I'm confused. Are you saying that Jesus never existed and they created this myth? And if so, then how could his birth have been the death of people if he was never born? Which one are you saying?
Well, I'm saying just the notion, the very notion that a creator, a power other than what we knew came up, and for the way that we accepted him around the world, it equals the death of our people. And you can
But
see
if
by
we
all the
accepted
ghettos.
him, we accepted him based on the teachings that came out of that area. The Europeans didn't start the Christian church, you know. It started as the Coptic church in Ethiopia.
Oh yeah, I know how it started.
All right, so are you
But
saying
the
that
true
the
character-
Ethiopians tricked our people?
No, well, they didn't do the thing that the New Testament calls for. It calls for believing in something that's totally made up. It's a figment of the imagination, first beginning with the Romans.
No. Elijah, I'm not going to. Let's not go rhetorical.
Okay.
Are you saying that the Coptic church, which was the first church of Christianity on the planet in Ethiopia, was misleading our people about Jesus?
First of all, was it designated Christian?
Yes.
Or is that a name that we use?
No, yes.
to
I answered you.
designate what the
I don't
Ethiopians
equivocate
are
like you're doing. Yes, it was the Coptic church which formed Christianity. Yes, in English, the term was Christianity. It was the Coptic church. I'm going to ask you the third time. Are you saying that the Coptic church misled our people about Jesus?
I'm saying the Coptic Church, what they wrote was not about a man named Jesus.
What did they write?
From what I understand.
No. Now you equivocate. See, you make a statement. I do not have a problem with people saying they're not Christian. I don't have a problem with people saying that they are not Jesus. But to say that white folks invented something and give them credit for Christianity is a lie. And I'm bold enough to, wait a minute. I grew up in Brooklyn. We used to fight this all. I'm just as bold as y'all are. I'm bold to push back. Whites did not create Christianity. And that is a lie.
You brought up that term. For example, when you say the term Jesus, the alphabet didn't have a J.
Now you're equivocating. You're going off into alphabets and all. You made a bold statement that the Ethiopian church did not believe and did not create Jesus. Jesus was a creation. And I'm telling you, the Ethiopian church and churches that came out of the area of Africa into that were exploited, colonized by Europe, preached of a Jesus. And to give the white European credit for that is a lie.
Flavius Josephus is the Jewish historian who came up with the name J.
I don't care if Amos and Andy came up with a name. You can't rewrite history. You made a statement that I'm asked you to back up, and you going around the back. And this is the way we can get united, because if you call me and talk about Muhammad and Allah, I respect that, because that's fact. There was a prophet Muhammad and Allah. If you talk about but why you got to give my Jesus to whites? I'm not going to be silent about that. Maybe others are, but I'm not going to be silent about that. Thank you for your call. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Keeping it real, that's what I do. Sharpton, that's my name. Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're gonna have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm gonna keep marching, I'm gonna keep agitating, and I'm gonna keep going. Until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time, Mariah, Chris and your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again.
It's been a
London, yeah. We've got many problems here. We need you over our side. Yeah, you're invited anytime, please. Whenever you want to come.
There we go. Guys! What's up, Doc? So we are in not a political dilemma, we are in a moral dilemma. And if the black church does not come with a prophetic voice, then who's gonna do it? We can go through all the data, all the statistics, all we're going through in the workshops, but the question is, where is the action gonna be? We all believe in Jesus. Jesus didn't teach theology, he healed people. And they learned the nature of the theology based on his healing. We've got to heal this nation. And if we heal this nation, the nation will return to our churches. But we've become silent and compromised. And we try to blame it on, I'm not in this. You are in this. You live it, your members live it. Unemployment now is higher now than it's been since the pandemic. Yet we survive. There's no history in the world of any people that went through the kind of psychological, cultural, and physical slavery like blacks did in America. The only reason we're still here is because of our faith. We had no external strength. We had an internal strength. And it was the God that we were taught by our mamas and grandmamas that brought us through. And I don't care who's sitting in the White House, we cannot betray the God that brought us through.
We have a short visit today, so we just wanted to greet you all and thank you for allowing us in. Yes, sir. We was here.
They were on the plantation.
Our family was on the plantation. Wow. And that's, of course, that's the slave house. That's one of the slave houses.
Good to see you, sir. It's been 13 years.
That's right.
Good to
How
see
you been?
Doing fine.
front last time. And we,
Alexander Sharpton. How many slaves were staying there?
I have no idea.
This is where they would have the slave.
Yeah, that's when exactly. That was exactly. The two people that most influenced my life were from South Carolina, James and Jesse. Jesse right up the road with me. I went over his mother's funeral. Jesse walked me to my mother's casket. Wow. South Carolina. That's the balance of my life, James and Jesse. Yeah. Civil rights, shoulders.
But also where your people from too.
Literally.
Yeah, right.
And where I knew Jesse was from James. I started president.
Yeah.
And James had died before I knew about him in South Carolina.
Oh, really?
Yeah. James died December 25th. He died Christmas Day, 06. And they came to do the story for February of 07. They came in January. His daughter swear that was his daddy and him pushing the information out.
Wow.
And I called Jesse and told him, do you know that my great-grandfather was a slave about 45, because Greenville right up to I-20. He said, I told you we was connected. That's why you gotta listen to me. But thing past hope. Because, I grew up, like I said, single mama on welfare. And my mother told me there's a part in life that hope's gonna run out. But she told me you got a double barrel in your engine. I said, what is that? She said, you can switch from hope to faith. Faith is a little deeper than hope. Bishop Hilliard is here. Faith is when hope runs out. Faith is the substance of things. Hope for the evidence of things not seen. Faith is when we were emancipated after 246 years of slavery and walked off the plantations with no education, no money, no future. We built black churches, black colleges, and black fraternities. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go to Junior in Milwaukee. Junior, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Mr. Sharpton.
Yeah.
And let me echo again, it's an honor to speak with you. You're here. I mean, you seem to run on batteries with your tireless efforts to keep America accountable. Look, once in a while, you actually give me a belly laugh, man. I mean, you really come up with some one-liners once in a while. I just had to say that. I do enjoy those moments, The caller before me, I don't know where he was really going. I'm glad you're able to check these people, once in a while, as they need. I do hold issue with, religiously speaking, with the depiction of Jesus being a white man.
Absolutely.
The Bible in my home has a picture of Jesus as a white man, and I've been tempted ever since. It was given to me by a friend, a white friend, and I've been tempted ever since to color the face, but I haven't, okay? But yes, I even I was caught by a street preacher once, corner preacher, and I averted his conversation and challenged him with, some seems, the church seems to be too able or to allow itself to be complicit in this, that it needs to be spoken out on, that, he couldn't have looked like this. He probably, the movies should continue to come out and out and out, and all these replicas of him as a white man. So, I think, some things are closer to us that we can really touch and argue and bring to light and make changes about. Let me go on, if I could, for a second. I am happy and very proud of the facts, of the times that you and Miss Austin spend on trying to educate our people. It seems that, so many of us, they've taken civics out of schools, I guess, and so many of us are just not up to date and just not well educated enough on simple facts like, gerrymandering, and like I said, I'm glad that you guys do spend some time, but, maybe in the context of a few minutes with some regularity on Civics 101, History 101, where you bring up, things that have been done, are being done, what history did 10 years ago on this day, that kind of thing, okay? Again, like I said, I'm glad for the jobs that you guys are doing. Now, for my most memorable, okay? Look, my dad was known in New Orleans as Iron Joe. I mean, everywhere we went, his friends and others would come up to him, "Hey, Iron, what's up, Iron?" So, we knew at a very early age he wasn't nobody to mess with. I mean, not if you call a dude Iron Joe. It's like living with Thor or the Hulk or somebody. Everybody's telling you your dad and stories about him and his brothers. They were some tough dudes, okay? Growing up in the 9th Ward of New Orleans. Well, no, actually, he grew up in the 7th Ward. Anyway. So one day, one Christmas season, there were 5 of us kids. Mom was in school, nursing school. Dad was pulling doubles here and there, post office and somewhere else. Restaurant work. So we pushed the smallest of us up to Dad one season to tell him what we wanted for Christmas. Mm-hmm. Now, we went to church every Sunday. We even went catechism, okay, for those Catholics out there. Mm-hmm. And Dad sat Linda up on his lap and said, "Look, let me tell you the true meaning of Christmas." Well, we'd all heard the story. And then he looked at her and said, "Now, what are we going to get Jesus for Christmas?" Well, that was it. It was over, okay? We knew what time it was, all right? Another Christmas rolls around. Well, you know how kids are. We still ain't true believers. And Christmas season, like this is the day before Christmas, and, the kids, we're all in mama's face now, okay? She can't get rid of us. You ain't outside playing football. Go outside. We want to hang because we want to see Christmas coming.
Okay.
Well, we huddled around the TV. Mom's got her soap opera on. Now, I got a brother who's a retired professor out at Virginia Tech that was mathematician, you know, James Turner. Let me say hello to my brother Butch, okay? And Butch was, in true heart, all our coming up, a comedian. We watched TV and criticize and crack jokes on TV. Ma say, you know, y'all got shit. I can't even hear, but she would laugh right there with us, okay? So we were sitting around there this Christmas season, this day before Christmas. And sooner or later, Butch, older brother, start cracking on the tree, okay? Now, he would intelligently make jokes, okay? Like, wow, looking kind of thin under there. We're looking at the presents, okay? They you know, the math is not adding up, okay? Well, Mom's listening to all this, and she's laughing, you know, on cue and this and that. And at some point, Mom just pops up and says, Junior, go find me some bricks. I'm like, what? So I go get a couple bricks. Okay, I think I got 3 bricks. I don't know where I found them. Come inside. This woman grabs the wrapping paper and wraps those bricks with the bow and everything and put them up under the tree. Now, you know, it wasn't such that we didn't, the look, you know, we always had people running in and out of houses, you know, like we would go all in my friends' houses, you know, and 5 of us, you know, in the neighborhood, man, you was in and out of everybody's house. Well, that was probably the overwhelming fear, the embarrassment. Things don't look right under your tree. 'Cause, you know, when the kids come in, the first thing you do is look under your tree. And they's counting, oh, wow, they got lots.
Oh, so she put, I'm trying to get to the end of the story because I got a lot of calls. She put the bricks there so it looked like y'all had more under the tree than you did.
Man, and we wanted to give her a high five. It was like, oh, wow, we straight now. We straight. We cool, man. You did it. We went outside and played that.
Wow.
Y'all come in if y'all want, but don't touch our presents.
I love it. I love it. Well, I love it. That's a Christmas to remember. I love it. Thank you for your call. Let me go to Tacoma, Washington, to DeMarco. DeMarco, you're keeping it real with Al Sharpton.
Yes, good afternoon, Reverend.
Good afternoon.
And happy holidays, Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Same to you.
Yes, I just wanted to make an observation about television journalism on MS Now and CNN. There seems to be a discrepancy between the images shown and the stories, so that some of the real, true but negative stories about Trump are accompanied by like positive images or images that he would send out for a campaign. So if there's a story, for example, about health insurance expiring, the words from the reporters and the anchors are very stark, very scary, very dangerous, very negative. But all you're seeing on the big screen is him smiling, waving at crowds, flags flying. And I think that needs to be changed because that's not photojournalism. I mean, it's not journalism when the image does not match the story.
So you're saying that if someone on CNN, MS Now, people like me hosting shows, if we're doing a story that is negative, we ought to have a graphic or photo or whatever graphic we use that would depict him looking like what we're talking about?
Yes, either him or the story, like with the affordable health care expiring, folks on a line for health care or people in a hospital, whatever it might be, instead of the photos he would want you to push out. And what I liken it to, Reverend, is the pharmaceutical companies, which I don't trust at all. But they have these commercials, you've probably seen them hundreds of times, where the narrator is telling you every possible side effect that could happen, but while you're watching the image, there's flowers and puppies and ice cream and people, jumping around, and they figured it out. They figured out they could give you like the worst news possible about their product and still make it look good to you. So
now, I think that's a credible criticism. I think you said something that is absolutely something we need to be held accountable to. Thank you for your call. Let me take a break. We're coming back. It's Keeping It Real, getting a lot of new callers. I want to hear from everybody Christmas Eve. We'll be right back. 1-877-532-5797. Sharpton, Keeping It Real. Be right back.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing and I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that called me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all, I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say, you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them. Now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that I first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old. With the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Hello, Keeping It Real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. It's XL Christmas Eve, not Friday. It is the day before the holiday, and I want to get everybody in. The question I've raised is, how do you feel we ought to be dealing with these holidays? And what are the fondest memories you have of the holidays? What sticks out to you when you think of Christmas? And what do you think the meaning of Christmas ought to be to us? And certainly we could deal with the same questions on Kwanzaa, which starts on Friday. Let me say by way of announcements, don't forget tomorrow, you in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, Christmas Day. I will be joining everyone at the House of Justice in Harlem, House of Justice of National Action Network, from 11 a.m. on. We are feeding and giving free meals to whomever needs it, whoever comes, the elderly, the homeless, people that just don't have family to eat with. We enjoy our Christmas together, give out toys to kids. And we do that because there are people that, despite your philosophy, my philosophy, that just need it as a social day. Others of us see it as a religious day and would do what Christ would want us to do. If you are in this tri-state area, come and join me, have a meal, and even if you just come and help serve or give some of the toys out at 11 o'clock and going home in an hour or 2 hours to deal with your family, come at 11 o'clock, House of Justice, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue in Brooklyn. In fact, a lot of people bring their family and then they go home and have family. But I think as often as we can get us as a community together, the more positive it is. And our kids need to see us. Our children need to see us do communal things. It means a lot. Also, don't forget, we'll be right back there Saturday Action Rally. I'll give the second part of my message on Kwanzaa and Christmas. 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., again at the House of Justice, 145th Street, Lenox Avenue. You that are not in the New York area can watch it live on Impact Television or at www.nationalactionnetwork.net live stream. And, of course, don't forget, watch Politics Nation with Al Sharpton. Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, I'll be live with members of Congress and the Senate dealing with the Epstein files, dealing with what are they going to do about this president changing the Kennedy Center name to the Trump Kennedy Center. What are we going to deal about with the economic upheaval? Now he's going to put garnishee on student debt loans. Don't miss Politics Nation with Al Sharpton live at 5 Saturday on MS Now. Sunday, we're doing the Revy Awards, 15th Annual Revy Awards, same time, 5 o'clock, Sunday Eastern Time, where at the end of every year, I give out the awards to the best and the worst in politics. You need to see that. We get dressed up and we do it big. Let's go to Lola in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, WURD. Lola.
Yes, Reverend Al, how are you?
I'm doing fine.
I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. I know you're doing fine, working out, doing all your stuff. I follow you, so I know you're keeping it up.
Thank you.
So I wanted to say just a couple of things. Yes, you're an inspiration to all of us, especially my generation. So I wanted to say that I didn't grow up celebrating the holidays, and so we did celebrate Kwanzaa. And so that's something, the 7 principles that I contribute and put in my life every day, but especially around the holiday when we light it and do different things. And I just would like Black people to, I mean, I understand that, people of whatever religion want to celebrate Christmas, but we got to get out of the economics of it, because a lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of women, 300,000 women and men, and Black unemployment is up for Black men. And I think that when everything is tied to money and what you can buy somebody, then that's where your self-esteem and that's where your worth comes in. But if you already attribute your life to the economics, the purpose, being a family, and not tying it into the money part, that you have to give money, that these toys are coming from some white man, or you have to have gifts and stuff. I think we have to get back to whatever the true meaning about it is, and I think it's about being with family, and especially at this time, it's about really preparing for 2026, what's coming up. When you get around your family and whatever you do with your traditions, I think that people need to be talking to their families, not just about football and about all the toys and stuff, but really sitting people down. Even if you go to the library, you don't have to do anything that costs money. Go to the library, print some stuff out that talks about voting, that talks about give your children educational things, educational books about this country, about the people, about what we've been through, about yourself, about Reverend Al, about Malcolm X, about Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, all the sheroes, Fannie Mae, Fannie Lou Hamer. We need to educate our youth, and we need to be in constant conversation when we come around, because we don't come around each other enough. So when we do have these big gatherings, we need to make them mean something, really mean something that's worthwhile, because of the climate that we're in with Trump. And I also wanted to say, pivoting to another conversation, is about where are the people who said Biden wasn't doing anything, Biden and Harris didn't do anything. Now they're coming after your paycheck. People can hardly make it now.
Right.
Food, tariffs, utilities, gross, everything is so high. And he's talking about affordability is a joke. Okay, but so if affordability is a joke, right? I'm talking to the people who didn't vote or who voted for independence and voted for Trump. Now he's coming after people's student loan debt. Biden wiped away student loan debt. Now he's going to go into your bank accounts, your work bank accounts, and garnish your pay wages.
That's right.
Now, how are you going to pay rent? How are you going to do anything? So people really need to think about, if you know what when you're in a relationship and you leave a man or a woman and think it's going to be good on the other side, and they always say, be wary of what you do, because you think it's greener on the other side, and it rarely isn't. And so now that Biden is going, and those people out there didn't elect Harris, he's coming for your paycheck. He's going to garnish that. The tariffs are up. People can't afford food and the utilities in Pennsylvania. Reverend, now they have went up on the gas, the Pico, the electric, water. They have went up, having these hike raises and net rate hikes, and then they're still going up on the property taxes in Pennsylvania, throughout the suburbs where I live, and in Philadelphia where my family lives. So where is it better at? Where are people really? I don't understand. I think people need to just get together and pray, and get together and really hold each other up, because these are really. I didn't live through the times of my ancestors and through Jim Crow and all of that. But this is a really time that I'm seeing we are really being tested, Reverend Al. Black people are attacking us. It's almost like every day there's a dartboard on our back. They're just throwing the darts. Okay, let's take away education. Let's garnish their wages. Let's take away Black history. Let's take away the MLK and when they were giving the Juneteenth, the free museum days. Let's take away Let's take away the jobs. Let's take away every single thing against blacks. So I think that people need to get together.
No, I think you had really made a great message, because at the end of the day, we are under siege and we need to act like it. And I don't care if you are a Christmas fanatic. Christ told you that faith without works is a dead thing. If you're a Kwanzaa fanatic, you are not doing the Nguza Saba if you don't implement the principles, not just recite them. I'm tired of Christians that can quote everything in the Bible and do nothing it says, and I'm tired of those of us that are blackety black, but don't do nothing but sit around talking about how black we are and don't do nothing for black people. We are under siege. Lola, we ought to make you Reverend Lola, because you preached the right message today. Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
$5,000.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how. I had a thought this morning that I want to share with you about mentorship. I am able to do a lot of what I do because I had great mentors, but there are correct ways and incorrect ways to mentor people, in my opinion. I was mentored as a boy preacher by Bishop F.D. Washington, one of the great Pentecostal preachers of his time. Then Reverend William Jones, who became my pastor after Bishop Washington died, who was unquestionably in the top 5 black church ministers, theologians. Reverend Jesse Jackson, who I started my activism under his leadership, he and Reverend Jones. And I learned politics directly as a youth director from Shirley Chisholm. So even though I didn't finish college, I had the most unique education in the world from being exposed to giants. But the one thing I learned is as I grew older and people started coming younger than me and wanted me to teach and mentor them, the magic of the mentors I had is they did not want me to be their clone. They wanted me to learn things from them and use my own gifts and talents in my own unique way and let me do things on my own, because they knew that if I flopped in some things, it would teach me with other things. They'll come and help me once I was down, but they were not going to have me avoid being down. And they were not going to impose themselves on me. Why am I saying that? Because too many mentors want clones, and too many mentees want their mentors to put them on a pedestal. Oh, so-and-so didn't do this for me. Oh, so-and-so didn't open doors for me. If they got to open doors for you, it may mean that they knew you weren't ready to go through those doors. Their job is to prepare you. Your job is to develop your own skills, your own unique ways. And I don't care if it's my daughters, who both have come into their home, or anyone else. I'm not a talent agent. I did not form National Action Network to give people their step up. I formed it to fight for justice for everybody. If talented people get in, it's my job to invest and give them a platform. It's their job to get on the platform and perform and show their ability. Sitting with me today in the office as I talk about is one of my mentees, Reverend Stephen Marshall. Now, Stephen, you just came around us when you were how old?
11 years old.
11 years old. You just turned 40 and now you're called to the ministry?
Yes, sir.
And what do you do in National Action Network?
I formulate policies, lead in various regions, but most importantly, I senior advisor to you on all things from social justice strategies, politics, intergovernmental affairs, you name it, community organizing, all of that stuff.
And I could go through scores of others. My daughter started Huddle. They got Huddles now, which is for young people to meet once a week all over the country. I just saw the video from the Las Vegas National Action Network chapter. Now, when you decided to preach, did I ever tell you to become a preacher?
Not one time.
Who called you to preach?
The Lord.
All right. And did I say go to this school or that school?
No, sir.
Did I open this door, that door? Did I tell you be ready when the doors open?
Always be ready and prepared.
And that's what I'm saying. Get you some young people than you that you can help along the way. But don't be their talent agent. Their talent must speak for themselves. And anybody that grumbles with you about so-and-so didn't do something for them, maybe it's because they didn't feel you were ready, or that they felt if they did it, you wouldn't do it on your own. But we all don't live forever. I want the next generation to speak of me, of National Action Network, and others, the way I speak of Reverend Jones and Bishop Washington and Shirley Chisholm and Reverend Jackson. But I just don't want young people to feel that somebody ought to give them the reins of leadership or give them the reins of business or whatever it is you're in. You need to learn from their journey, get the pearls of wisdom from them, but don't have them do for you, because then it means you can't do it for yourself. Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. 1-877-532-5797. Let's go back to the phone. Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin is. Every day, Monday through Friday, I do 3 hours a day on Keeping It Real with Reverend Al Sharpton. I do 1 hour on Sunday mornings with Reverend Al Sharpton. And I'm live on radio and TV with the Saturday Action Rally. 7 days a week, I talk to our people, hear from them, the call-in. I'm sick and tired of people talking for people that they don't talk to. So go on www.nationalactionnetwork.net. Listen to my show, call in, express your opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But let's start talking to each other rather than about each other and lecturing at each other. Let's keep it real with Sharpton.
You're live, sir.
Keeping it real. Keeping it real. Keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Let's go to Gene in Louisville, Kentucky. Gene.
We lost him over the break.
Okay, we lost Gene. Let me go to Woody in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The word, Woody.
Hey, Rev.
Hey.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
Listen, I just wanted to say to you, me and you around the same age, and I appreciate your skills and your ability to give. You continue to give so much that it's just a part of living. And that's what I see Christ, the message of Christ. People say, well, Jesus the Christ. Now, his last name wasn't Christ.
Right. It was not.
If we understand the action of a Christ, we will understand what we're supposed to be doing in that direction. The part I love about being human, and every year we had our Human Family Day till that COVID came out. I did it for 18 years straight. Brought blacks together, whites, Asians, Indians. All of them met up together on the day of Dr. King's assassination. I did that for 18 straight years. The deep part about it was you will be surprised what you learn, because the concept of barbershop talk is there's nowhere in the world it's not a barbershop. So I can talk to anybody in the world. So when I got somebody in the chair, they could be from around on the other side of the planet, You get a chance to learn something. So the key is I went to school, and I know I didn't get the proper education in the public schools. To me, that is a sin and a shame, as my grandmother would say, but it's also against the law. If you pay your real estate taxes to the school, to the district should at least do what they're supposed to do as it relates to giving you the service rendered, because many people graduated with diplomas as receipts for educational services never truly rendered. That is a crime. I appreciate every time I listen to you, I'm absorbing information. You're absorbing information. Nobody knows everything.
Right.
But if you understand how to be a friend, back to Jesus again, if you understand that a friend is, that to me belongs to every human being on earth. If we could understand the power of what a friend is. Jesus Christ was a friend. You see, I used to remember my grandmother constantly saying, oh, what a friend we have in Jesus. She would stand up and just say it. And I was too little to understand what was going on in the public school, in the church, because I just went to the basic public schools. But it grows with you. Once that seed is planted, and you understand that value of friendship, you understand what Christ was doing. And that's why I say I salute you every day. In here in this barbershop, I'm learning constantly from other people from different cultural groups in my society, and I'm sharing my problem as it relates to what we didn't get. I think we need an office of long-term residency in every city, because you are paying your real estate taxes if you own your property. There's many blacks that still own their properties, but because of gentrification, they are going to be losing them. So we constantly get phone calls. Well, sell your property, sell your property. Well, I asked the people that are calling, do you see a sale sign outside?
Right.
Didn't say I wanted to sell.
Right.
Well, they're working on that right now. That's why we need, Reverend, we need the Office of Long-Term Residency. I'm trying my best to do what I can do on my end, but if you have some ideas, please consider thinking about the concept of the Office of Long-Term Residency in every city in this country, because they're coming after the inner cities to gentrify you out. Like I said, Trump said it. What the hell do you have to lose? Your schools are messed up. You can't get money from banks, and you're being gentrified out your neighborhood. You may as well vote for me. Well, they voted for him, and he didn't do anything about it. We have to do something about it. I can't point the finger at him. He's a liar. You see what I'm saying? How you going to point the finger at a liar? If a liar lies and doesn't do what they say, that's a lie.
Right.
We got to get that spirit, Rev, and I feel it. I know that we can do it, but the Office of Long-Term Residency should exist in all inner cities because they're coming after our ownership of properties. People who still own properties in their families. It's something that we should try to keep, even if we get the office tied in with all the other groups like your own. You see? That way we would have a piece of something we can't ever really lose because it would be a part of that office that I'm talking about. I'm working on it, Rev. I'm trying to do what I can, but I need, as the old folks, my father used to say, I need some help. My father didn't say help right. He would get mad at me. I said, Dad, it's called help. You don't tell me what to say, boy. He had 10 children, and we never moved out of that house, and we still own that property. I'm just so thankful to have Gloria Woodard. Gloria Lee Woodard was my mother, and James Woodard was my father. And that 900 block South 19th Street, we own the properties from one corner to the other on our side of the street because my parents came together as one. And if we come together as one human race, I know we can get the job done. Please go online, Reverend Sharpton, barbershoptalkhfd.org. Please go online and check out the race test. I think it can help us come together because it's a short video. It's only 10 minutes, but it shows you how do you view race. Is it singular or plural? And I ask whites, blacks, Asians, Indians. You should see how they stop because they can't seem to answer the question. So please, Rev, check it out and tell me if you think it's worth something, because I think it is. Rev?
Yes.
Yeah, I just wanted you to check
faded
it out.
out on it.
www.barbershoptalkhfd, like HarryFrankDavid.org, and look at the 10-minute video between myself, Professor of Race Relations, and the discussion becomes, how do you view race? Is race singular or plural to you as a human being?
All right, and now can people get this online?
It's online.
Okay.
www.barbershoptalk, the letters HFD, stand for Human Family Day.
HFD Barbershop Talk. All right, I'm going to look it up. I'll let you know how I feel.
HFD.org.
I will definitely let you know. Thank you for your call. As always, glad to hear from you. Let's go to the message board. I see democracy.fun. That's Brian. Say, come together as one. We are the world. Sub-quoted by Woody from Philly. Yes, very good sub-quote. And two Philadelphians talking about each other. Then I see Akeem Smith says, either we're going to accept the word of God as the truth or not, period, end of story. James Thomas says, I don't understand why people try to get in a scripture debate with Rev because they know they're going to lose. It's not about losing. It's about, to me, and I appreciate what you're saying, Jane, it's to me about if you're going to say something, let me put it to you this way. If you're going to call a Baptist minister and denounce his religion, for him to not answer you means he really doesn't believe in his religion. So I'm going to answer you because you knew who you were called in the first place. To give credit to Europeans for a religion and a Messiah that the religious, those of us in the religion believe in, to Europeans is just historically inaccurate But it is personally offensive to me because I don't have to distort somebody else's religion. I could say that's their choice. I respect it. There's a lot of good in it. And let's figure out how we can combine in an ecumenical way. But to come and attack my religion, which is attacking the birthright of Jesus and the race of those that started religion, you should expect I'm going to respond. Otherwise, I don't really believe in it. And it's just that all. And it's just that serious. I mean, I can give you 50 different reasons that you could deal with the question of race and Jesus, from the geopolitical setting of that time, from the history of that time, from Jesus as a child had to be taken to save his life. Joseph and Mary, his earthly parents, had to take him to hide in Egypt. Well, Egypt is North Africa. Egypt is not North Rome. So if whites wrote the Bible, created, now there those, King James did do a version of it, but if the basic tenets of the original Bible was written by Europeans, then why would they have Jesus go to North Africa? Why didn't they have him go somewhere else? Why would they have him ruling against the rich? Tell him give to the poor. So the message of Jesus doesn't correspond with the distorted history. Aside from the fact that you can study the history and find out exactly where it comes from. And if you go to St. Matthew's first chapter, Jesus is, in the first chapter of Matthew, they go all the way back to the seed of David, the seed of Moses, Abraham. All of this lineage was of the same people, and they were not European people. Now, that does not mean they were anti-European, but that means you cannot distort it, and because you may not believe it, don't give the wrong folks credit. Let's take a break. Be right back. More of you on the phones and on the message board. Keeping it real. Sharpton. Be right back.
Joining James Brown, Muhammad Ali, and myself now from New York City is the Reverend Al Sharpton. And Mr. Brown, James, I'd like to ask you about this young man, how you came to meet him, and what the National Youth Movement, which he represents, is all about. Tell me something about it.
It's about teaching young kids the right way to go, and the things to be involved in education. Don't be a dropout, which is one thing I'm very much behind. Unless kids have guidance, they have no place to go. And the idea is to try to mold them. I mean, we think of anything, we think of it as a baby. And what we mold them to be is what it will be later on. He used to stand at my back door, and he believed in what I said, the Don't Be a Dropout program, and the fact of helping kids and giving them the right idol and the right image to go with, cleaning, grooming, and wanting to work, wanting to be something. I started as a kid, a juvenile delinquent, and everything. Had no model. And I was able to be a model for a young man like this. And what he turned out to be is a minister, and he preaches the right thing, and I'm for him 1,000%. I'm for everything he's about.
Mr. Sharpton, how national right now is the National Youth Movement? Is it something new? Has it been going on for a while? Do you have a stated number of members? Tell me something about it.
Well, we don't really get into a numbers game because that's been a trick that has been played for the last 20 years. What we're basically interested in doing is saying to young people of impoverished backgrounds that there are people like a Muhammad Ali and a James Brown that represents hope to us. Because these people, despite all of the social odds, despite the unemployment statistics, despite the lack of education in their day, were able to grow and be something that we can be proud of. A man like me didn't have a father at home, but I had a James Brown to look up to and would want to sing and dance like him, or Muhammad Ali, who I saw stand up and give away millions of dollars of stamps to the government so that I would have a right to come 10 or 20 years later and try to fight for my kids. So what we're saying is there are symbols and images that kids can look up to and not have to throw a brick through a window, but that can work by the sweat of their brow and succeed just like these two gentlemen did.
But considering the numbers of young kids today, and Rev, there are hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of kids who really are in hopeless and desperate situations, is it enough to just offer them an example?
You say hopeless, though. Not hopeless.
Well, let's say,
hopeless,
well, to
copping
them,
out.
well, to
It's
them,
never
10,
hopeless.
11, 12-year-old kids,
It's never
Jim.
hopeless. There's no such thing as hopeless. It's never hopeless. When I got 8 to 16 years for breaking and entering as a kid, because I was hungry, and here I am today, it's not hopeless. Don't say hopeless. Then we're copping out. I don't believe in hopeless. Don't you think it's hope? If you believe in something, try. No such hopeless. I don't believe in hopeless. We're not going to go with that. And I think he's not about teaching them how to get out and fight for themselves. That's what it's about. No, it's not hopeless. Everybody has a cause and everything, but everybody want to live. And I think living is what we're about. We're not going to teach dying. Hopeless is dying.
I agree with you 100%, James. But what I'm trying to ask here is simply saying, you too can be a James Brown or a Muhammad Ali. Is that enough to give a kid who's hungry, who doesn't know where his next meal is coming?
I'll say it.
Give him somewhere to go.
I think it's awful weak to tell a kid, you can be a James Brown, one of the greatest entertainers in the world, and me, one of the greatest fighters. And like you said, the hundreds of thousands of millions of kids that need a break. You can't have that many great people, but they can get educated. They can go to school. They can learn. I'd like to say one thing. We have crime today. It's a big problem. I think they took a national vote on what the people want the government to spend most of the money on, and crime was over national defense. Worrying about Russia, China, outside enemies, they're worrying about inside crime. We have crime today, all type prostitution, murder, exploitation, degradation, and wars of all kinds. And I'm going to tell you why everything's happening. And I think if you're intelligent, you agree with it. If we were riding an airplane and the two pilots died for some reason, is there anybody in this room that can go in the cockpit, pick up the radio, start working it, bring the plane in, depressurize it as it land, and make it, and late at night on a stormy day? You couldn't do it.
Right.
Well, but if you learn how to fly, or if they show you how to fly, you can. Since God made the world and God made us, He sent the Bible, the Torah, the Quran, sent Moses, Jesus, Noah, to show us how to run the world. And God left His laws. If we don't follow His laws, then we crash.
Let me say this, though, Mr. Snyder, in response to your question to Mr. Brown, Mr. Ali. Yes, it is enough to begin with showing them an example, because before you get to education, you need motivation. If you don't have motivation to get out of the bed, you won't make school or the party. And what we try to do by showing a James Brown or Muhammad Ali is not that you can be a great champion maybe like Ali or a great entertainer like James Brown, but if you use the same initiative that they did to make him get up 5 in the morning and run 10 miles and just have a dream and to come back 3 times and accomplish that dream, to have more hits than anybody in the world, even when the music world wouldn't give him credit for it in terms of a James Brown. If you had that initiative to keep working at whatever it is that you're going to do, you can succeed. And what we're saying to them is you may not reach the plateau of public prominence of them, but if you can reach the personal discipline and personal motivation of them, you can reach a plateau in your life. Because it's not about looking for a government handout, it's about looking for a way out, as James Brown said.
All right, and then how receptive are the young people that you tell this to?
Very receptive.
Really?
Very receptive. Very receptive. I think that people have misunderstood that most people of impoverished and depressed areas are not looking for the government to give them something. They just want a chance. I remember when I was a little boy, James Brown used to sing, I don't want nobody to give me nothing, just open the door, I'll get it myself. Well, that's all people want now is a chance. Let me get a piece of the action. Let me get a piece of the pie. Let me stand up on my own.
All right. At one
man should have the major corporations, the government, should get behind him and push the programs that he's about.
Except maybe if he does it himself and gets grassroots support, it's better than having the government stick their nose in, because they have a way sometimes.
We're not talking about control.
Yeah.
We're not talking about control. We're talking about a way of start. You know, they have to start. If they fund Chrysler and fund all these different other things, they can fund a small man to get started. Then the private sector will join in, but let them help too. It should be.
Last thing. Somewhere along the line here tonight, we used a graphic saying long, hot summer. Are you in any way, I'm certain you're not predicting a long, hot summer. You're not predicting urban strife. You're not predicting disorder, anything like that.
Well, what I'm saying is, you know, at home you have an oven. There are flames on top of the oven, and then there's heat in the oven. We always discuss whether there'll be a flame on the top, and don't discuss it. There's already 600 degrees inside. I'm not concerned as much about a long, hot summer because it's been a long, hot winter. Yeah. People are unemployed.
Okay.
People are unemployed. People are getting their homes ripped off. Parents' pocketbooks being snatched. As Ali said, crime is at a highest rate it's ever been. So rather than us running around the streets looking for a brick, we should be looking at the fact the brick is already in most people's houses. How do we get the brick out of the house? How do we cool the long oven out? Let's not wait for the explosion and then just cut the flames off upstairs. Let's put the flame out inside. And the only way to do that is everybody to get up and work by the sweat of their brow in America and try to produce, be productive like these two gentlemen have been in their life against all odds. They came up in a world that was alien to them, and they made it. And we can make it if we have the same initiative they did.
Mr. Sharpton, it's been a pleasure to have you here tonight, and I've enjoyed meeting you very much.
Thank
Thank
you
you for
very
coming
much.
by, and thank you, James Brown, for being with us again. Kent, thank you for being here tonight.
I would argue that DEI is a result of those that by law and later by enforcement would not deal with diversity, would not deal with including people of color, gender, sexual orientation, as well as disabled. And the conscious effort by government and the private sector to begin to equalize the opportunities of this country was something that makes it more humane and fair for all of us. To DEI diversify. It's not based on the lack of merit. We could not show our merit because we were excluded. These pompous conservatives that talk about we want a society based on merit. Well then, if it's based on merit, then why did you discriminate based on race and gender? Until they cut off much of the population and then had merit between white males. That was what they meant, not merit. Let's have real merit, but let's also make up the ground that those of us with merit was not able to compete.
A new course, a new coalition, a new leadership. Somebody got to rise above race.
I am your
rise above sex.
Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back this Christmas Eve. And let me say, and I say this every year, and I will be remiss if I don't say it this year, that Christmas has always been a emotional time for me because it reminds me of when I was growing up, good days, and then after my parents broke up, challenging days. But in 2006, Christmas night, I lost someone near and dear to me who was like a father since I was 17 years old. And I'm talking about the godfather of soul, James Brown, who embraced me. His son had been a member of my National Youth Movement, was killed in a car accident. And James Brown kind of took me under his wing and supported my youth group, my civil rights work. He used to take me out on the road and give money to my youth group. He never would pay me. People talk about I was his road manager. I never worked for him. He wouldn't allow that. He wanted it all to go to my youth group. He said, let them pay your salary, but I want you to see the world. And he would stop shows and have me come on stage and make pep talks to the young people. And so I want to again acknowledge on 2006, December 25th, 2006, I lost James Brown. Talked to his daughter, Deanna, on yesterday, and we stay close, and that's been, 19 years he's gone. It's like he was there yesterday. I still feel his presence. In fact, in this last hour of Christmas Eve, if you may want to bring up someone that you will miss on Christmas, he may not have died on Christmas Day, but that they were special in your life, and you'll miss them at the proceedings or whatever you do around Christmas. You're welcome to do so. Let me bring in there here at headquarters here at NAN Corporate, Reverend Cassius Rudolph, who is a special assistant to me. He's working on the top of the year. We're going on a HBCU tour where we're going to various historic black college campuses. I'm going to do a couple myself. He's doing an extensive tour, rallying young students and going to bring out of the tour 300 of them to our National Action Network's National Convention, which will be in April of next year. We always have our convention in April because we want to do it the month they killed Martin Luther King Jr., to say they killed the dreamer, not the dream. That's why we always do it in April. And the goal is to hit these campuses, organize not only around them coming to the convention, but organize them on the campuses to deal with the issues they must deal with, including now where they're talking about garnishing student debt and doing all kinds of reduction on student services. And as we unravel this early January, I'll have him on more and more. But I want him on now as a minister and pastor. He pastors in southern New Jersey.
Yes, sir. Down in Willingboro, South Jersey.
What's the name of the church?
Saints Memorial Community Church.
And at Saints, he's pastoring there, and he works here as my special assistant. Now, you were trained, you went to Tougaloo College in Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
How do you respond as a young minister, you're in your early 30s, how do you respond to those in your generation that will say around Christmas time that Christianity is a white man's religion?
Yeah, well, first of all, again, thank you, Rev, for the opportunity to be here at NAN. It's been such a good time learning the history of this organization and walking in this path of doing social justice, civil rights from a grassroots level all the way to a corporate level, making sure you never leave the people. So thank you. But when we think about what folks say about Christianity being a white man's religion, I always go back to what my grandmother used to say. I wouldn't have a religion I wouldn't feel sometime. And so whatever that religion might have been, I would never say it was a white man religion, because whatever things that come in black folks' hands, we know how to shape it and make it ours. Because out of the experience of black people from the South, even before you come from the South, you think about the Middle Passage and the things that we brought with us over here. I always can debate that the Bible has nothing but black folks in it always. So I tell my generation always that when you want to talk about white man religion, it doesn't rest in the Bible when you think about it through the black lens, because we take what they meant for evil and we make it good. God makes ways out of no ways. So I always debate and let them know Christianity is not a white man's religion.
Now, you can take anything and distort it.
Right.
And I think there was a distorted Christianity that the slave masters used here, that European colonialists used. But that was not the religion, any more than there are many in the Arab world that are Muslim that have distorted Muhammad and have distorted the Quran.
Exactly.
And on and on and on. But I wouldn't call the Islam an Arab religion. Right. So I think that a lot of us, rather than respect each other's beliefs and respect, as you said, they may have given us their form of Christianity, but we brought it back into a spiritual, not just a religious dogma thing, that was rooted and grounded and geographically in North Africa.
Right. And we think about this. I was a student at Union Theological Seminary here in New York, and I was and still is a son of Black Liberation Theology. James Cone was our professor, and we talk about that. You cannot talk about black people in America without talking about black people all throughout the Bible. We have a good representation of folks that look like us. Think about Jesus, born in a manger, born in the hood of Nazareth to a teenage mother, unwedded engaged and had to flee with her son because somebody had a bounty on his head. And so you think about that today. You cannot distort the Christianity that we know. Jesus was a person of color. God is on the side of the oppressed. And so we come out of the tradition letting folks know what they wanted to do to us. We did total opposite. And now we stand on the word of God to make sure that his truth is marching on.
And plus, if it was so historically sound to say it was a white man's religion, which it is not, then the white church would have been embracing our movement.
Exactly.
And the white church would not have been having lynch parties for us,
right,
and other things. They clearly was operating against the principles of Christianity. These people go to church Sunday morning, sing hymns,
right,
preach, and then go to the town square and lynch a black while they sat there like it was a picnic.
Exactly. And so, and even make me think about two things. You can't say it's a white man religion because you think about the first African church, the Coptic church, with folks that look like us. And then we think about today, how people try to distort, and rather you do have this great right movement of white supremacists and those who are distorting Christianity for their own vainglory. And so you can't say you believe Jesus of Nazareth when you're lynching somebody after morning worship.
Right.
You can't say you believe the same Jesus who healed on the Sabbath, which was a no-no, who stood with widows and outcasts, and say you believe in the same Jesus we do. It's a contradiction, and you see that today. White nationalists, they come on board. They distort Christianity for their own, but we know that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. And what he did, he was a radical. If Jesus came back today, they would not recognize him. They would say, this can't not be the Jesus of Nazareth. This can't be the Jesus we pray to, because he will come back looking like a person of color, out there marching with us.
Well, the evidence of that is, and I'm get some of this is my message Saturday at the rally, this Saturday, is the indictment on Jesus. If you were to read the bill of particulars, is that he's stirring up the people. You know, people talk about they brought him before Pilate.
Yeah,
it's the story in the Bible.
Yeah,
Pilate said, "I find no fault there."
Exactly,
and you can choose between. Because it was a gift to the Jews of that time that we'll give you a prisoner.
Yeah.
You can either have Barabbas, the thief and the murderer, or Jesus, the Christ. They said, no, he causes too much trouble. He stirs up the people,
right?
Which is somebody that is actively doing things against the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And if the Roman Empire was not threatened by him stirring up, they would have never brought him up on charges.
Oh, yeah.
He disturbed the money changers in the temple.
Yeah.
He told people they could be healed, which was against the edict of the time. So if he was against Roman colonialism, I would assume he would have the same posture for the poor and the sick that's about to lose ACA today. I mean, just read it the way it is.
Oh, yeah.
And that I think people don't want to do, including those that claim to believe on it, because it makes them have to be challenged that you got to do more than do lip service. You got to do some hip service. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. More of you on the phones and on the message board. And you joining me and Reverend Cassius Rudolph for the last hour of Christmas Eve, special edition, I'll make it, of Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton. We'll be right back. Keeping It Real, Sharpton. Be right back.
Some of you forget where you come from and forget how you got there and act like you got there because you were qualified or that you had a good resume. But some of us had to pay a price for your resume to even be read. Some of us had to take nights in jails and licks upside the head or shut out of boardrooms like Byron so you could walk down red carpets and act like you got there by yourself. So I received this award with a special place in my heart and on my shelf because I'm getting it from a freedom fighter who never forgot where he came from and how he got there. Yes, we've come a long way. We've had now a black president and now a black vice president, but we still can get shot down and have to march to get a case in court. We still can get shut out of boardrooms. We're still doubly unemployed in a good economy. So we're gonna have to keep marching. And I thank not only my family, a mother that raised me by herself, but I thank that lady at the end of the march that knows she won't be on TV that night and knows her name will never be in the paper, but she believed in me enough to get at the end of the line and make me look good. Because Dr. King used to say, if you call a march and no one shows up, you just going for a walk. And I want to thank those that marched with me. 32 years ago, here in Los Angeles, we marched. And then many years later, with George Floyd and others, we're still marching. And I'm gonna keep marching, I'm gonna keep agitating, and I'm gonna keep going. Until we don't have to do it anymore. Eddie, known you a long time, Mariah, Chris, and your kids. And I promise you this, the only thing that I really live for is I get up with this dream that every bigot, every racist, everyone in this country that hates will say, damn, he's up again.
It's been a long time coming, but I know
1968, Dr. Martin King was killed in Memphis, Tennessee. And it has been the commitment of National Action Network to always, in the month he was killed, to let them know they killed the dreamer.
But I have a dream today.
When they came for the dream. Keep the dream alive on Wall Street. Hello, New Orleans. Let me tell you straight. They did not think we could come and be here tonight. They cut budgets and advertising, but one black man, Rich Newton, has said, I don't care. My families come together every 4th of July weekend, and Essence will happen, because that's who we for bringing us back. Why do we come? Because the essence of who we are is essential to what made this nation. We built this nation. We made this nation. We created the essential dollars that this nation lives off of. We don't care what bill they pass. We will not back up. We will not back down. We will not give in. We will not be chased out. We don't care who's in the White House. We will organize our house by house. We came over the Middle Passage. We survived slavery. We survived Jim Crow. Don't you give up now. Don't you turn back now. Stand up, black man. Stand up, black woman. Reclaim your dignity. Reclaim your place. So we stand with the Black Global Black Economic Forum. We stand with Essence Magazine because that's who we are. So don't give in now. Yes, it's some rough days, but we've been through rougher days than this. Yes, Trump is a bad dude, but we beat badder dudes than Trump. So let's party with a purpose, because our rhythm and our music reminds us who we are. Because we can smile through our pain and organize for our gain. Let's stand up and let's celebrate who we are. Thank you, God bless you.
Tony Wafer, Los Angeles chapter, NASDAQ Network. He just came in here to New York a couple days ago, had to stop by the House of Justice, and I sure enough found some justice, so I know I can leave here feeling like I got peace.
This is the first Thanksgiving I'm here in New York. Over 20 years. I'm just glad to be here with Rev today and to hand out the food. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. It's a blessing.
It's Erica Ford, the Peace Doctor in the building. Here at the National Action Network, it's about thanks. It's about giving. It's about gratitude. It's about love. I feel
Keeping it real. Keeping it real.
That there's work out here.
I am your host,
it starts with gratitude. It starts with
Reverend Al Sharpton, and we're back. 1-877-532-5797. Reverend Cassius Rudolph sitting in with me for the last few minutes of this Christmas Eve broadcast. Let's go to my Ace Boone Coon in Chicago. Not just in Chicago, but on the west side. He says it's the best side. Let's go to Frank. Frank, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and Rudolph. I don't hear Frank.
There's the bell.
All right.
Reverend Al?
Yes, sir.
And to your guest, I'm overlook him. I don't want to talk about Donald Trump. I don't want to talk about the Supreme Court. I don't want to talk about none of that because we're going to take it in high gear, start a new year, and full load. I just call in to wish our Reverend Al, our pal, and his family a very Merry Christmas. And to your adopted family, which is the Keepin' It Real family, which is us, wishing a very, very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, Reverend. Now, that's all I want to make sure I got in that. You was not going to come through here, voice watch through Chicago without your ace coon boom calling to wish you a very Merry Christmas, my brother. We love you. Your support, your knowledge, your guidance, your wisdom, all through the years, including this year that we can exit. Merry Christmas, Reverend. Now, Merry Christmas.
Oh, well, Merry Christmas means a lot to me. My main man, my for real Ace Boo Cool Frank on the west side. Let's go to Detroit to Sly. Sly, you're keeping it real with Sharpton and Rudolph.
Reverend Al Sharpton and Reverend Rudolph, holiday greetings to both of you and your family.
Thank you.
Really briefly, I will piggyback on what Sister Lola was saying, and I will add three more things. Your citizenship, your civil rights, and your human rights. In 1 year, Donald Trump answered his own question, and I'm firing this towards Black MAGA. In less than 1 year, Donald Trump answered his own question when he said, what do black people have to lose? Because the list continues to grow. Happy holiday.
Wow, that is a very strong statement that I think cannot be denied, Reverend Rudolph, because when you look at December 31st, we are at December 24th now. ACA expires unless the Congress votes to extend it. The Congress is gone on its Christmas break. They claim the Republicans had a alternative bill that really does not suffice. And it seems as though we're looking at the distinct possibility that 23 million people will lose their health insurance over the next few days if they do not extend this. And these are the same people that'll be at somebody's church tomorrow,
Right.
or sitting up under some tree singing jingle bells while they have done something as abhorrible and inexcusable as making health care not be affordable to those that need it. And these are the things that I'm talking about. Separating. Somebody asked me in the street the other day, stopped me, said, you know, Reverend Sharpton, I see you out there and I appreciate some of the things you do, but why do you defend immigrants? I said, well, first of all, everybody that's here in the United States are immigrants other than us. We were kidnapped and brought here. Everybody else came here from somewhere else.
Right.
Second of all, I believe in a dignified, procedural immigration. I don't believe you just open the borders.
Right.
But I believe you can't act like everybody that's not white is here illegally, because that's not right either. But what gets me is they will come down on those that are here illegally, they claim, clamp down, put them in jail, but then hide the Epstein files at the same time, people that violated underage girls of their own community. There's something paradoxical about that. There's something downright sick about that you're going to tolerate this president spoon feed a congressional order to release all the documents on violating underage girls while you run around chasing some guys that are working at on the field somewhere for a living because they couldn't make it in their country. I mean, it is the most blatant form of madness that I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah. You can't say you're a follower of Christ and you participating in snatching up and capturing people that don't look like you, immigrants. Bible tells us Jesus was on the side of the widows, the widower.
Right.
Welcome the stranger. And if you do that, you show signs that you're a follower of me.
Or the parable of the Good Samaritan.
Yeah.
The people of the race of the man that had been robbed and beaten ignored him, walked past him. It was a Samaritan, a man of a different race, different nationality, that helped the Good Samaritan. Why are all those stories there if this was written by oppressors? Oppressors don't tell you to do that. Oppressors don't write the story of slaves rebelling in Egypt. Oppressors don't tell you to form your own and stand by your own nation going across the Jordan. Oppressors don't have David beating Goliath. So I think that a lot of that, you know, one of the things that I think that always capsulizes it for me is that I was in, I guess, my late teens, and I was debating this at a forum that we had at the church. I was growing up in Washington Temple Church of God in Christ. And I was debating it with one of the guys who went to school with me. We had this little forum we're going to set up. And he was, you know, anti, I think it was Easter. And I went through the history of Jesus, the geopolitics of it, the Romans enslaving and then colonialism and all that. And it went on and on for about 45 minutes, 50 minutes. And some of the young folks with me, some of his crowd was with him. And I never forget, an old lady got up. Her name was Mother Obey. I must have been 12, 13 years old. Mother Obey said, well, I don't know about history. She said, I come out the South. I had to drop out of school in the 5th grade, pick cotton. I don't know nothing about history. I don't know about what y'all reading. I don't know what y'all quoting. I don't know nothing about theology. She didn't even say theology. She said, I don't know about theology. She said, but I know what he done for me. That's all. She said, I know that when I called him, he answered my prayers. And that my mama told me if I called him, he may not be there when I want him, he'd always be on time. Yeah. She says, so I've lived and survived by that. So you can talk about whatever you want to Sharpton about the history, and one of y'all right, one of y'all wrong, or both of y'all right, or both of y'all wrong. But you can't tell me what brought me through. And I think that a lot of us become so academic and so political that we forget the actual thing that gave us the soul power and strength to make it. Yeah. Same is true for some in the Muslim community. That's what they made it. Whatever connects your spirit and your spiritual well-being is what will make you survive through the storms in life, not how smart you are. Smart people crumble. People with no degrees, no diplomas, but that have a strong faith are the people that sustain themselves. So if it works for you, it can't be wrong.
Yeah, I totally agree, Rev. There used to be this old lady in our church that said sometimes you can be so heavenly minded and no earthly good.
Right.
That you critique everything, that you try to use your degree to kind of overshadow the practical side of faith. But you got to realize faith without works is dead. No matter how many connections you have or degrees you have, if you don't believe and have faith, none of that means anything. And your theology may be different than the person that's who actually on the ground, who's experiencing the everyday hardships of this country and going back and forth. The church, I often say in my church, the church is the hospital for the soul. Why do we keep going back? There's something there that brings us back.
Let's take a break. Be right back. Keeping it real, keeping it real, keeping it real. Sharpton. Rudolph, be right back.
So who is Al Sharpton anyway? Who is this 33-year-old preacher without a church?
A number of black New Yorkers as well. He is little more than a pudgy exhibitionist who can be counted on to show up, bullhorn in hand, at every racial incident.
I often quote Mark Twain saying, the two most important moments in life is the moment you are born and the moment you find out why you were born. I had a very troubling conversation the other day that prompted me to do this little video. Young man that I've known a while came to me and he was crushed. I mean, really crushed, because
people were criticizing his work. He's in the ministry, but he's also an actor. And he said he couldn't understand why people were jumping all over, criticizing him, trying to find scandalous and derogatory things about him. And I told him, I said, you know, you're very young. You don't know the road I've traveled. They call me everything but a child of God.
A blabbermouth, a loudmouth, too flamboyant, an agitator, a racist,
I had to learn.
Yeah, right.
I was not defined by how others saw me. I was defined by how I saw myself and whether I was being true to myself. Some of you watching this don't like me. And it doesn't matter as long as I know what I'm doing. And I like me for being real. So I'm doing this video to say to you, whoever you are and whatever you do, you may not be in ministry or social justice, none of this stuff, but don't live your life worried about opposition or people that don't like you. You can turn that around. Use me as an example. The same people that called me a scam artist, a con artist, a sellout, or racial hustler and all. I kept going. And the people I respected started respecting and publicly embracing my work.
When Coretta Scott King, the widow of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had this to say about Al Sharpton.
A leader who has protested injustice with a passionate, unrelenting commitment to nonviolent action in the spirit and tradition of Martin Luther King Jr. And I am talking about your leader, our leader, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
The other thing that hasn't changed is the National Action Network's commitment to fight injustice and inequality here in New York City and across America. And that's not only a testament to Reverend Sharpton, it's a testament to all of you who are here tonight.
First and foremost, to Reverend Sharpton. I saw him when he first came on the scene, and I have marveled at his tenacity, at the development of his intellect, and his devotion to our movement, and much he has contributed to the world we are experiencing. I am honored, and I must say that when I had my debate with Dr. King on the issue of the church and religion, he didn't warn me that after his departure, his space would be filled by another preacher, and that preacher would be Al Sharpton.
All you want in life is people that matter to you to say you did all right. And more important, that you can look in the mirror and say you did all right.
Thank you, Rev. Thanks for that introduction. Look, we've known each other for a long time. I'm grateful not only for your leadership and partnership, but quite frankly, more importantly, for your friendship. And thanks to all of you, members of our nation's most important civil rights organization.
You have been, over all of your years, such an extraordinary leader. You are a voice of truth, a voice of conscience, a voice of practicality around what we must address and what we can do. And I thank you so much for your friendship.
I remember that most of the youth around Al's age, he was about 12, wanted to be like Connie Hawkins, a great basketball player, legend, or Earl the Pearl, or Clyde Frazier. Al wanted to be like Adam Powell, a powerful preacher with a social justice gospel. He was very close to, at that time, to Reverend William Augustus Jones, powerful preacher and social justice advocate, and Reverend Gardner Taylor State right down the street, and Bishop Washington, whose church he came from, and Reverend Sandy Ray. He wanted to be like these giant preachers. He wanted them to have the edge, however, of the King's social justice dimension. He wanted to be like them, now he's one of them. Perhaps taller than most of them because of the risks he has taken and the reward God has given him with his gift. I remember so well that first escorted him to jail. He was around 13 years old, with the jail fighting the ANP. He was in the lineage of our struggle. He grew up in it. We didn't just see him on TV one night. He didn't happen. He came bottom up, not top down.
Keeping it real, keeping it real. I'm your host, Reverend Al Sharpton. Reverend Cassius Rudolph, Special Assistant, laying out this HBCU tour that we're going to kick off the middle of next month. He is sitting in with me. Don't forget now, tomorrow, Christmas Day. You that are in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, come down and be with us at the House of Justice starting 11 a.m. We're going to be serving hot meals all day, giving gifts to children. People that are elderly, that don't have family in the area, can eat with me and my family. People that are homeless, you got a home at the House of Justice to have your Christmas. And people that have a home and have food, but want to do something Christ-like on Christmas Day. Come and help serve food and give gifts to kids. Come an hour, come 2 hours, and go on to your family. But be there and join me. I'll be there all day at the House of Justice, 145th Street and Lenox Avenue in the village of Harlem. You that have not signed up to volunteer, you can still go online to www.nationalactionnetwork.net and sign up. Then on Saturday and Sunday, Politics Nation with Al Sharpton will be on. We're not taking the weekend off. Saturday, I'll be live with many of our members of Congress. I really want to get into the Epstein files. I'm going to get into ACA, Affordable Care Act will be down to the wire then and not extended if everything holds out. I want to get into how we deal with the voting measures that's still in front of the Supreme Court. It's going to be a heavy show because a lot of people are home for the holidays or had friends and will be watching, so I'm going to lay it on Saturday. Then Sunday's the Revy Awards, and Revy Awards is where I give out the awards to the best and the worst in politics for the year ahead. It's 15th year, 15th Revy Award. Politics Nation with Al Sharpton has been on 14 years. Our 15th anniversary will be next August, 20th anniversary of Keeping It Real with Al Sharpton. You know, it's a blessing, Reverend Rudolph. When I started radio, they said I wouldn't be on a year, and this will be 20 years February. And when I started television, they said I wouldn't last 6 weeks, and it's 14 years. So sometime, and I did not have media training. I guess training in the black church will get you ready for anything. But I think that I try to tell young people, and I will say it in some of the HBCU campuses I go through with you and the NAN tour, is that you cannot always listen to the naysayers. You got to go by what you believe and hear that inner voice in you. That's right. And that's God directing you, and you do whatever it is that God wouldn't call you and play with you. God ain't got no time to be having fun with you, so you do it. You know, I started as a boy preacher, as you know. I preached my first sermon when I was 4 years old. Stood me on a box in Washington Temple, about 900 people there. And ever since then, I was preaching. They let me preach 2 or 3 times a month. By the time I was 7, I was on the road as one of the boy preachers. So I knew I was a preacher, knew I wanted to be a preacher. They licensed me, put me out there. Then when I was around 12, my parents had separated. We had to move from a nice home in Queens, was in the projects, and I used to watch the news a lot. The kids in my new neighborhood didn't really want to play with me too much because they said, he's a preacher. My mama go to hear him preach, and we can't cuss and carry on with him. So I stayed in the house a lot watching the news. And I became totally enticed with the image of Adam Clayton Powell, who was a pastor and a civil rights leader. It led the Harlem bus boycott 15 years before the Montgomery boycott. So I wanted to meet Adam Clayton Powell. He was a preacher that was doing all of this. And my mother finally let my sister, who was 3 years older than me, bring me up to Abyssinia. I met Powell. Powell knew me from hearing me on the radio, Bishop Washington's broadcast. And 12 years old. And that's what got me involved in wanting to do social justice. And got my mother all concerned. My mother said, he gonna leave the church, he gonna backslide. What are you doing out there? Now he wanna get into politics and civil rights. And brought me to Bishop Washington. And as God would have it, Bishop Washington, in his wisdom, took me to Reverend William Augustus Jones, who lived across the street from him, and said, you know, this is the boy preacher, and his mama's afraid that he's going to end up backsliding. And Bill Jones said, I know what to do with him. We'll make him our youth director of Operation Breadbasket. He introduced me to a guy a little younger than him, kind of a hip guy, looked like Mod Squad, had a big afro and all, named Jesse Jackson. I became the youth director, and the rest was history. Yeah. But you couldn't tell me that I would one day host a TV show or radio show. But I'm saying all that, sharing all that, hopefully somebody listening can share that with their kids, to say if you do what you're supposed to do, if you follow what you're called to do, you do not know where the road will bring you.
That's right.
If you got to figure everything out, you'll be limited by the domain that you can see. But there's more for you in life, and there's more for us as a community.
Right.
If we would just have enough concrete sense, scientific analysis, but then faith on top of that.
Yeah, I totally agree, Rev. What a unique story. You know, you started young, kept up the fight. You somewhat like Jesus, turning over money changers on Wall Street so folks can eat and survive in a state, in a city, in a country. And I think about what the old folks used to say, your gift will make room for you. And I truly believe that, how God will open doors to those who's willing to work and willing to say yes. And when you say yes to God, so many doors are open, no matter your background situation. And I think about Mary in the Bible, poor, young. Even before she said yes to God to bring forth a son, they already had her outcast. She was nobody. Man, it already lets me know how God can use any and everybody despite your background history if you say yes and be willing to work. And we see that today. That's the same story that we got to tell young folks, that you don't have to be over spiritual. No matter where you come from, God wants to develop a relationship with you. And that's what we must remind them.
Absolutely. And I think that, you know, we no longer, in some churches, I won't say all, we don't preach spiritualism, we preach spookism. You know, if you do this, this going to happen. This spooky, this spooky.
Yeah.
Nobody got to scare you into being right, you know. And I think that if you deal with, everybody has a spiritual side, that side of them that talks to them and they don't know why it's saying this or why they're feeling this. And part of, if religion is to play a role at all, is for you to interpret and have boundaries on what your impulses and your self-speak is telling you, and the experiences in life. As I look back at life at my age now, things that I was able to do, doors I got in, rooms I got in, that I could not have planned. And when I was going through them, didn't think about that. But now, when you look back and say, now I couldn't have done that. That just happened. How did that happen? It's like the old folks used to say, God will direct your path.
Yeah.
And what he didn't say is that God will direct your path and give you the architect's plan. That means you ain't never gonna know what it is. That's your faith to keep going. And I believe that you'll be vindicated. I never thought when I was 17 years old, black lady ran for president of the United States in Brooklyn. I knew well, Shirley Chisholm. I became the youth director of her campaign. I never thought when we was out there, 1972, I was 17, I was gonna be 18 that October. Couldn't even vote for her, but I'm out there getting out the vote. Shirley Chisholm president. Never really thought I'd live to see a black president or a black woman vice president. So when I sat on that platform, and the picture hangs here in my office that Barack Obama, the second inauguration, had Martin Luther King III and his wife sit on the fifth row on the platform behind the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court. And I thought about how Shirley Chisholm paid the price. If you just do what's right, you'll be able to see things that others say are impossible. That's my Christmas message to y'all. Let me thank all of you that called in, listened in, you that called in and couldn't get through, but hung in there anyhow. Remember, whatever you do, wherever you go, however you feel, tell somebody, tell anybody, tell everybody. Reverend Al told you personally, keep it real. Keep it real. Whatever you do, keep it real. I'll talk to you